Happy birthday to our last batch of Scorpios. Our last batch of Scorpios for Scorpio season. Welcome to your weekly forecast for November 18th through the 24th. We're going to see what's going on here with this deck. And then we're going to pull a spirit message or angel message for you for the week ahead with that deck there. As always, those of you who are card collectors like me, I will always have for you in the description of the video which deck I'm using if you want to check them out. So let's go right on into it. Scorpio, let's see what's coming up in the week ahead for Monday, Tuesday. Let's see. I don't know if you guys are feeling that full moon energy. I sure am. Here's your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're coming out of that full moon energy, and Mercury retrograde is going to be wrapping up, so we're going to see what is happening in the week ahead. So Scorpio, your first card here is Seven of Cups, and this doesn't surprise me, okay, that Seven of Cups is coming up here because we are in some really significant energies right now. And Seven of Cups is a card that comes up when sometimes we're not sure which way to go or which direction to go in. You have to keep in mind, especially for those of you who maybe you didn't catch it in last week's video or you didn't see last week's video, I explained how this full moon in Taurus was bringing a lot of people into a sense of permanence, into really kind of getting their personal life established or their personal relationships established. So there's going to be some chaos that comes in with that. There's also a big sense of awakening that's happening right now in the energies. So a lot of people are in this kind of really confusing energy or confusing in between place. On one hand, they're very hopeful and they're very optimistic in feeling and knowing that there's something more coming, or realizing that they have choices and options, that there's actually a few different things they could be doing. But on the other hand, they're just like, but I don't know what to do, or I don't know how. And so sometimes Seven of Cups is kind of like we're just like in this really just kind of in between energy, like there's so many things, and I'm coming out of like a negative thinking, or I'm not being pessimistic, or I'm not being limited in my thinking anymore. I know things are possible, I just don't know how to get there. I don't know how to get from here to there, or I don't know what to focus on, or I don't know what to choose. So there could be like this really overwhelming feeling. I always say this when Seven of Cups comes up. A really great thing for you to do to help you figure it out is to write down a list of your choices, your options, the things that you're wanting to do. And then one by one, imagine yourself living that life, doing that thing. And narrow it down. Which ones made you feel the happiest? Which ones felt right to you? Once you have that smaller, shorter list, go ahead and research. What is it going to need for you to do that? What is it going to need for you to accomplish that thing or to get there? And then after you do that, you can kind of pick and choose. Well, you know, all right, this seems like something I could probably do in the near future, and maybe I'll save that one there for later on in the future, you know, like down the line. And that way you can kind of get organized, right? That's the one thing about Scorpios. Depending on where you are and where your planets fall, and I can say this because I'm a Scorpio, when we get something in our head, we can become very motivated and we can become very consumed by it. And sometimes we become so consumed that we start feeling like we can't rest until all of it's done. And this is not the case. Like, you can't do everything all at once, right? You can't do 10 things at once and expect for all 10 things to come out great. You're going to have to pick and choose your focus. It doesn't mean you can't have all 7 cups. It just means you can't fill them up all at the same time. But if you do that little exercise I mentioned, it's going to help you narrow it down. Your Wednesday, Thursday, my darlings, I should say, is 8 of Cups. You are all about the cups, Scorpio. This is interesting. And as a Scorpio, I'm curious to see how this kind of pans out here. Wow. So we went from 7 of Cups to 8 of Cups. So, you are feeling overwhelmed. This makes me feel, because Monday or Tuesday, you might actually be receiving some kind of an opportunity, or something may be shifting or changing, and you're trying to figure out which direction to go in, to go in it. So, for example, maybe you've been trying to pitch or sell an idea. Monday or Tuesday, it might be getting picked up, and they might be giving you some options that, okay, well, you can sell it to us and we can give you this much, or we can do it at a percentage and you get this much percentage, or whatever. Like, they might be giving you offers and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Or you might have to be picking or choosing between more than one offer from more than one place. That's just an example, okay? But something might be coming up where you're having to make a choice. Or maybe you're landing a new job and you're going Monday, Tuesday to put your 2 weeks notice in, and then all of a sudden your boss is like, wait a minute, no, don't leave. What are they offering you? Maybe we can match it, or maybe we can, find a way to keep you happy so that you can stay. So you just might find your way, like trying to pick and choose between different options, or how to go about something. But something is definitely moving. You have some choices and decisions to make Monday or Tuesday. So by midweek, so funny how this happens, by Wednesday, Thursday, after the decision is made, after you receive this accomplishment, that all of a sudden you're realizing, wait a minute, and this is the Taurus full moon energy. You're like, this isn't bringing me the fulfillment I thought it was going to bring me. Something is still missing. Something's still missing. And so you're beginning to really start to look for what that is, right? When I see 8 of Cups, some wish is coming true. You were working really hard for something. You're finally going to get it. And then once you have it, you're like, but man, something's missing. I thought I would feel different when this happened, and I don't. And this is a time for you to be careful, Scorpio, because this is the time that a lot of people fall into this trap where all of a sudden it's like, okay, well then this must not be my soulmate because I don't feel the magic I thought I was going to feel. There must be somebody else for me. Or this must not be my life purpose in my path or in my career. I should be doing something else. Like, people start to doubt what they have, and they'll set another goal. Okay, well, maybe I should have been a dentist, or maybe I should have, ended up with Bob, or maybe I should have ended up with Teresa, or like whatever, right? Like, you start looking for something else and you start to set a different goal. This is not the time to be setting goals for that reason, unless you're setting goals simply out of a thing of self-improvement and things that you genuinely want in your life. But when 8 of Cups comes up, it's saying that this is the time for you to make your spiritual connection. Scorpio, some of you are really coming into a big time of success. And some of you are coming out of a big time of failure. Two opposite ends of the spectrum. I know they're very opposite, but when the lesson is coming in, it can come in through success or it can come in through failure. It depends on where you fall in your journey, where you are in the current vibration. And so now is the time for you to realize your worth, your value, your identity is the same and exact, regardless of how much money is in your bank, regardless of who you're with or who you're not with, regardless of whatever's going on in your life, regardless if you're rich or poor or whatever it is, or single or coupled or, hot or not so hot or whatever it is. You still have the same value and purpose and worth, and you're still the same person. And so you need to begin connecting with your higher self, your higher power, because what I'm hearing intuitively is the tide is about to turn and things are going to go very, very fast. Very, very fast. And if you don't have a good foundation, and if you don't have a good relationship with your higher power for when these things turn, a lot of the success that's going to come in, you can stand to lose it because it's going to carry you away, you're going to get carried away with it, right? And some people go rags to riches. You could go from rags to riches to rags again, right? But this is what the Taurus full moon is trying to do. It's trying to help us break those kinds of cycles. And so you're going to have a chance and an opportunity to change that. And you're going to have a chance and opportunity to gear yourself up and be ready for what's coming in so that you can have the best possible outcome. In fact, let's look at your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Your next card here is the Hanged Man. And people get upset when they see the Hanged Man. They get mad because they're like, oh, nothing's happening. Oh, no, guys, this is an important card. It's a very important card. First of all, you need to realize this is a major arcana card. Major arcana cards come up when there's some kind of a divine intervention happening. There's some kind of a crossroads. This is like a destiny moment. This is like a time in your life that you were contracted to experience. You know, Hanged Man for me is like a cosmic timeout. You're not being punished. You're not on timeout because, you know, you were naughty or something. You know, you're on timeout because Spirit is saying, hold on. Take a step back. Things are about to really start moving into gear. This is the time to get your head on straight. This is the time to really look at your plans, your ideas, especially for those of you that really did your homework in the beginning of the week and you came down with your list and how you're going to go about it. This is the time to look at those plans and make sure you're, you know, dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and that everything is really looked at, that you're prepared, and that you're clear about where you're going and what you want. You know, there's some soul searching that happens with the Hanged Man. There's looking at things from a different angle. There's looking at things from a different side, right? For example, you know, somebody might really be wanting children. That's something that comes up a lot with readings. Like, people will reach out and they'll really be wanting to know, am I going to have kids? And that's not something I can answer. I don't do those kinds of readings. But, you know, somebody could really be in that energy at the end of the week. It could be someone who's really wanting kids, and they might stop and say, you know what? I'm seeing all these things on TV. There's just all these things happening. Maybe right now is not a good time to bring kids into the world. Some people say, oh, no, it's all what you think and all what you call towards you and all what you vibrate. And people have different ideas about that. But I'm just giving you an example where the Hanged Man could be a time when you look at a situation from a different angle and you think about it and you go, how am I going to handle that? Like, am I going to be happy in that situation, or am I going to find myself constantly worried? Like, is this really aligned with what I'm trying to bring in or what I want? That's just one example. You know, it could be so many other things. But to look at a situation from all angles, that's what the Hanged Man's about. So things are about to start moving. And this is like, hey, what are you wishing for? Are you sure you really want that? And if that's the case, are you sure what you want that to look like? Are you able to put in those specifications? Your order is about to get shipped out to you, so it's time to double check that order. That's basically how I take the Hanged Man. So the next card here, my guys, is going to be our Oracle deck. Our spirit message, our pretty little bird with the heart. I love it. I love the design on the back. Let's see what's going to happen here. What is the spirit message for the week from this deck? And we have unity. It's like a coming together, a healing or solving of things. I feel, you know what's really interesting? And I invite you guys, I always say this, I invite you to really look at this card and see what's jumping out at you and how it speaks to you, okay? And really just kind of what the symbols mean to you and like what you're seeing. So I'm seeing, oopsie, I don't mean to knock it over. I'm seeing this drawing of this face here, and I'm seeing these different little circles. So this is giving me a sense or a feeling that some of you Scorpios are going to be doing, during this Hanged Man period, some really deep soul retrieval. Like, you don't even realize you're doing it. Like, you don't even, like, maybe you haven't been trained in energy healing. Maybe you don't even know a whole lot about meditation. But somehow in your natural state, your angels and guides are coming together and they're guiding you, and you're going back and you're retrieving these bits and pieces of your spirit or soul that maybe got fragmented, either in previous lives or maybe in this life. Maybe you had really traumatic things that happened to you when you were a kid. And so when things happen, sometimes like we separate from parts or pieces of ourselves. And you'll hear people who've had a traumatic experience, either as children or as adults, and they'll say, it's like I was standing in the room watching it happen. I had a friend who was in a really like really serious car accident. Like, they almost died. They were like off-roading in the desert and their Jeep flipped over. And he said he was standing, he was in the car, and then the next thing he knew, he was standing on the sand, like on the little dunes or whatever, and he was watching the Jeep flip over, and then he saw himself like fly out and land. And like that's wow. Like, you know, some people will have those experiences, right? So, and sometimes in that moment they're able to come back together, and sometimes there's just parts of ourselves that just kind of separate. So you're going to be calling back those parts of you, like healing. If there's any piece of you, especially if you feel like there's a part of you missing, or if you feel like somebody walked off with a part of you or something, you're going to get that back. You're going to call it back to yourself so that you're feeling whole again. You're feeling complete again. Now, this card is probably going to have more of a message if we look at the book about unity and being together and we're all one, and that's an aspect many of you will be experiencing. But Spirit just immediately gave me this sense or this feeling of soul retrieval for some of you, or many of you actually, who are out there watching this, where you're just kind of, you know, getting pieces of yourself back, or finding yourself again. You know, maybe you lost your identity along the way and you're finding it and you're calling it back in. Another thing that's jumping out at me is in this tree. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I don't know if they're supposed to be leaves or not, but they look like Easter eggs to me. So I feel something is happening for a lot of you where between now and Easter, I'm not sure what it's gonna be, sometime in April, where there's this like whole new kind of like rebirth that you're going through. Scorpios, we all are a sign of rebirth, right? We're the phoenix of the zodiac. So a lot of you are about to have a really massive like phoenix moment, and it may start this week and it may go in through April of the coming year. So like by springtime, you are really coming out on top. You're coming out on top better than ever, really firmly rooted, really firmly planted. So I think a lot of you are going to be accomplishing some really big goals for yourselves over the next few months and into the springtime. And a lot of it is happening as you're coming back to yourself. You're finding yourself again. All right, my darlings, I encourage you to watch your moon, sun, and rising sign videos. Some weeks those may resonate with you more than others. Also, my darlings, really check out the November love reading if you haven't already, even if you don't care about love, if you're happily single or happily coupled or whatever, because the energies in November are very shift, so I channeled for those videos. So those videos are directly from Spirit. It's my voice. You'll hear my voice speaking, but it's not me saying like my opinions or things. I'm channeling, so it's Spirit speaking. So even though for the love videos for November, there's a lot in there that you might find useful regardless of if you are looking for love or not. And because there's been so much positive feedback about the channeling videos, I also channeled a full moon video, full moon in Taurus. A lot of people enjoy that as well. I'm gonna do a channeling video every month. I haven't figured out yet if I'm gonna do a channeled message for each zodiac sign, or if I'm just gonna do one collective channeled for the month. You guys will have to let me know how you feel about that, but definitely check out the channeled videos as well. If you'd like to schedule a private reading, click on the Calendly link in the description of the video. You can schedule there. I thank you so very much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I'm wishing you a fabulous week, my darlings.